Hello, this is Jeff at Magical Fruit Toots. In this tutorial, I will show you how to take Wordle word art and add background images with Photoshop. This method should also work with output generated from other word cloud generators and applications, such as Tagxedo, Tagul, etc. Here's a quick tutorial overview. We'll start out by creating a Wordle image on the Wordle.net website. Text used was selected from quotes from different versions of the Star Trek series. Then we'll replace the background with a Starfield. Next, we'll place the Enterprise ship in the image. Then we'll make some final adjustments. To begin the project, we need a word cloud. The first step should be to create some text. Open up a plain text editor. I use Notepad. Then paste or enter your text. The text used was selected from different versions of the Star Trek series. I added a few words such as Klingon, warp speed, etc. Words and phrases that wouldn't exist if Star Trek never was. If you put a tilde symbol between words or words in a phrase, Wordle.net will group them together, so they will appear one after another. I put the tilde symbol between the letters in the phrases live long and prosper, highly illogical, and similar others. Wordle.net will make words that appear more frequently respectively larger. The more times a word is found, the larger it will appear in the word art. Words connected by tildes are treated as one word. I duplicated Star Trek and Enterprise a few times. This will make them appear larger in the Wordle. I also duplicated some of the quotes in order for them to appear larger in the Wordle. In case you want to follow along with the Star Trek word art, I've added the text I used for it in the tutorial description area or projects files. When you are satisfied with the text, save it as a .txt plain text file. Browse to Wordle.net. Click Create. Paste the text from your text file created earlier. Press Go. A random word cloud will appear. In the Options menu, choose Language. Click Remove Numbers to uncheck, as we want the numbers in the word NCC 1701 to appear in the Wordle. In the font settings, choose B Preplay Bold. Then choose Layout, choose Straighter Edges, then Layout, mostly horizontal. In the color settings, choose Blue meets Orange. At this point, keep pressing Re-Layout with current settings in the Layout menu until you find a word cloud that is fairly rectangular with not too much black at the sides. Once you find a design you like, you can press Recolor in the Color menu to change the distribution of the palette colors in the current Wordle. Note, here are some shortcut keys that may be helpful. The letter E will recolor the current Wordle. The letter R will relay out the current Wordle. Control Z takes you back to the previous Wordle. Control Y takes you forward one Wordle. These shortcut keys may not work if you have another program such as Photoshop, which uses those shortcuts, also open in the background. When done, click the Save as PNG button. Don't type the letters E or R in any file name you choose, or you could lose the current Wordle, as the shortcut keys may be active when you are saving the Wordle, depending on what applications you have running in the background. However, you can paste in any valid file name. To begin, open up the word cloud in Photoshop. Choose Image, Image Size. Change image resolution to 300 pixels per inch. Double-click the background layer. Name it Wordle. Save the image as a PSD file. Choose Select Color Range. Select Shadows. Check the Invert box. Make the range 0. Then slide the fuzziness slider to the left until the letters are clear. I used a fuzziness of 14%. Click OK to accept the selection. Copy the selection to a new layer. Name it Letters. Zoom out a bit. Place in bed the Starfield layer. Hold down Shift and Alt keys while resizing. Adjust it so it just fills the canvas area. Move the Letters layer above it. Delete the Wordle layer as it is not needed anymore. Make the Letters layer active. Place in bed the ship image. Turn off the Letters layer. Right-click and rasterize the ship's layer. Rename the ship layer Ship. Here is my selection made with the pen tool. Use whatever method you are comfortable with. The ship is selected, not the background. If your selection is already of the background, do nothing. If your selection is of the ship, inverse it. Now press Delete to remove the background. Deselect. You should now see just the ship in front of the Starfield. Next, make any corrections to the selections using the mask. Choose the Brush tool. Press D for the default black and white colors. Add a mask to the ship layer if there already isn't one. Choose the ship's mask. If white is the foreground color, press X to change it to black. Use a hard round brush, size 10. Zoom in a bit. Now remove the parts of the red board and the wood board below it that are jutting out from the ship. At this time, use the black brush to straighten lines and remove unwanted areas. If you notice a mistake, use a white brush to paint back the mistake. Next, we'll fix the bottom of the engine. The ship's mask should still be selected. Select the pen tool. The path should be the method. Select a begin point above the board. Let go of the mouse. Then select an end point. Continue holding down the mouse when selecting the end point. Then drag to a good position as demonstrated. Let go of the mouse. Hold down the Alt key and press the end point. Click another point farther out. Then continue to close the shape shown here. A small circle will appear when the shape can be closed. Right-click and select Make Selection. Click OK to accept Feather 1 and Anti-Alias settings. If black is not the foreground color, press X to make it so. Then press Alt Backspace to fill with black. Deselect. Right-click on the ship's mask. Choose Apply Layer Mask. Next, we will remove some boards that don't belong and repair the engine hull by using only the Patch tool. Add a layer on top. Name it Fix. Clip it to the ship layer. Select the Patch tool. Patch type should be content aware. Adaptations strict. Sample all layers should be checked. Start making corrections as demonstrated. Draw a circle around the board. Make the circle a little outside the ship. When the circle is complete, use your cursor to drag the circle up until it is in an area of the texture you want to replace it with. Then let go of the mouse. Because the fixed layer is clipped to the ship selection, you can drag the patch outside of the ship area, and only the ship area will be affected. On this area, I didn't like the result. It was too light. So I selected that area and did another patch. Now I'll remove the board. At this time, make any similar corrections necessary on your image. As an optional step, use the patch tool to clean up dirty spots and blemishes. Here is the resulting image after making minor corrections. The ship will be faded and located behind a bunch of letters, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I made corrections to be thorough. Finally, use the brush tool to color the red area indicated. Alt-click on the tan area above it to pick up the ship color. Then paint over the red. Press Ctrl-0 to fit the image to the canvas. Next, hold down Ctrl and select the ship layer. Right-click and merge the fix and the ship layer together. Rename the merged layer Ship. There is some debris that needs to be removed. Control-click the thumbnail to select the ship. You will see any debris that is still a part of the selection. Deselect. Add a layer mask to the ship layer. Make the mask active. Then use a black brush to paint away any outlying debris. Next, we'll resize and position the ship. Choose the Move tool. Drag the ship to about the center of the canvas. Press Shift and Alt on the right upper corner and drag to resize. This should be a good point to save the file if you want to use the ship in future projects. Click the Hand tool to turn off the Move tool. Select the ship layer mask. Right-click and choose Apply Layer Mask. Make the ship's blend mode screen. The stars are showing through the ship. Select the Starfield layer and add a mask to it. While the Starfield layer is still active and the mask is selected, Control-click the ship's layer's mask to get a selection of the ship. Press Alt-Backspace to fill the Starfield layer's mask with black. Deselect. Hold down Control and select the new layer icon. This will add a new layer below the Starfield layer. Name it Black. Fill it with black. Select the ship's layer. Change the ship's opacity to 80%. Add a levels adjustment layer to the ship layer. Click the Clip to icon. I use settings of 15, 1.16, and 245. Turn on the eye of the letters layer and make it active. Add a levels adjustment layer to the letters layer. Click the Clip to icon. I use settings of 0, 0.92, and 170. This concludes the tutorial. Hope you liked it. Here is the final picture.